You're listening to Fast Facts, Ask the Expert with Tom Viola. All right, everyone, welcome into Fast Facts, Ask the Expert for June. I am here with Tom Viola. Tom, thanks again for being here. I got a tricky question for you.
Bring it, my friend. I'm always happy to answer your questions. You know that.
All right, so this one is actually kind of a callback to one that we did earlier several months ago when we were talking about local anesthesia with epinephrine or without epinephrine. And so I guess the question is, when should we be using 3% plain local anesthetics?
This comes up as a source of consternation amongst dental professionals all the time. You know, based on the number of 5, which I often use when I'm teaching pharmacology to my students, we've got 5 anti-infective agents, we have 5 analgesic agents, and we have 5 anesthetic agents that we use. So number 5 comes up a lot. But when you realize, hey, that sounds like a pretty good arsenal, you also start to realize, hey, wait a second, though, we can really start losing guns in the arsenal pretty quickly based on the fact that epinephrine is our major concern. So, for example, if the medical doctor says, no epi for this patient, or the patient says, no, I don't want epinephrine, or the patient has something going on like a sulfite allergy and can't have epinephrine, well, unfortunately for us, you now lose articaine because it's only available with epinephrine, bupivacaine because it's only available with epinephrine, lidocaine because it's only available with epinephrine. And so you're left with what now? You're left with mepivacaine, 3% plain, and prilocaine, 4% plain. Those are your only 2 options. Okay, so should we use 3% plain? Well, it does seem like the right choice when you look at it from the Goldilocks approach like I do, right? Like, in many cases, you don't want to be big, bad 4% septicane because of the problem with paresthesia and mandibular blocks. Okay, so forget that. But you don't want to be wimpy 2% lidocaine either. Why? Because it's not enough molecules per cartridge. So we sort of find 3% mepivacaine, also known as carbocaine, as our Goldilocks. It's perfect. It's just right in the middle. Great. And I like that because the number of molecules the approach makes it seem like it's viable. But here's the problem. It's plain. So while mepivacaine's claim to fame is plain, it's also its claim to infamy because it doesn't last very long. All right, then. So I'll use the 3% mepivacaine plain, and when it starts to wear off, I'll just give more. But that in and of itself is the problem. I will use 3% mepivacaine plain. It'll last about 40 minutes. If the procedure lasts longer than that, like an hour or an hour and 15 minutes, at some point, the patient's going to say, what? Ow, I felt that. And when the patient says, ow, I felt that, physiologically, what does that mean? A burst of endogenous epinephrine because they weren't expecting pain. They were just previously profoundly numb. You say, oh, you just felt that? And they're like, why, wasn't I supposed to? That's another burst of endogenous epinephrine. Then you say, oh, no problem. We'll just give you more. And they see the syringe in your hand and boom, more endogenous epinephrine. Then you give them the injection and it hurts because the anesthesia is worn off. Another surge of endogenous epinephrine. And then when you put the needle away and you're going back to work, the clock starts ticking in their head because the first injection wore off. Now this one's going to wear off and I'm just waiting for it. And the anticipation of that breakthrough pain leads to more endogenous epinephrine. So you can make the argument that overall, your patient would have received less epinephrine if you just used epinephrine in the first place.
I love it. Tom, this is so great. Next month, you're going to come back. We're going to do another great question. In the meantime, where can people find you?
You can find me anywhere on social media at Pharmacology Declassified. Find me on my website at tomviola.com and shoot me an email anytime at tom@tomviola.com. And thank you, Andrew. I appreciate it, buddy.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for listening to Fast Facts, Ask the Expert. If you have a topic you'd like one of our experts to answer, simply email me, Andrew, at ataleoftwohygienist.com, and we will get it on the air as soon as possible. Thanks for listening.